I happened to catch my son and his wife at the bank. They were cashing out all my money, but then I spoke up. The moment I stepped into the bank, I froze. Not because of the long lines. Not because of the cold air conditioning. But because my son and his wife were standing at the counter, signing forms I knew all too well, withdrawal forms, for my account. And the way they flinched when they saw me, I knew everything was about to change. Number 1, the chance that changed everything. I'm 68 years old, a retired school principal. I'm not wealthy, but I've spent my life saving responsibly, carefully putting away whatever I could so my final years would be peaceful. My son, Adeel, had always been respectful growing up, but after he married Zara, things changed. She was charming on the surface, always mama this and mama that, but behind the smile was an ambition so sharp it could cut glass. For months, they had been begging me to give them access to my finances. "Mama, you're getting older," Zara would say. "It's better if we manage things for you," Adeel added. I always refused, politely, softly, cautiously. But I had no idea how far they were willing to go. That morning, I only stopped at the bank because I needed my passbook updated. If I had chosen any other day, any other time, they would have drained my entire life savings without me ever knowing. Number 2, their faces explained everything. I approached slowly. Adeel turned around first. His face went pale. "Mom, what are you doing here?" he stammered. Zara quickly slid the withdrawal form behind her purse, like a guilty child hiding stolen candy. I didn't raise my voice. I simply walked up, leaned on my cane, and asked, "What are you both doing with my account?" Silence. The banker, a middle-aged man with tired eyes, cleared his throat. "These two claim to have power of attorney, ma'am," he said, visibly confused. I turned to my son. "Adeel, where's that document?" He swallowed. "Mom, we were going to tell you. It's just, you forget things sometimes. We're only trying to help." Zara added, "You know, for your own good." For my own good. The phrase burned hotter than fire. Number 3, the hidden plan. Later that evening, after we returned home, after a fight so loud the neighbors probably heard, I learned the truth. They weren't cashing out my savings to help me. They were planning to use my money to pay off Zara's brother's business debt, put a down payment on a second property, and remodel their kitchen. Not one rupee for me. Not one thought about my future. I sat in my chair, heart pounding, listening to their elaborate explanations, excuses that tangled around each other like twisted wires. "You're alone," Zara said. "You don't need all this money." "We're your family," Adeel insisted. "It's ours too." That's when I realized my biggest mistake had been loving them without limits, while they loved me only with conditions. Number 4, the quiet night that sparked my plan. That night, I cried until my throat burned. Not because of the money, but because of betrayal. My own son. The baby whose hand I held when he took his first steps. The boy I stayed awake for during fevers. The young man I helped through university. He saw me not as a mother, but as an ATM. By midnight, my tears were dry, and something inside me had hardened. If they could make plans behind my back, then so could I. Number 5, the legal storm they never saw coming. The next morning, I visited my lawyer, an old colleague's son who knew me well. When I explained everything, he shook his head. "Ma'am, this is financial exploitation of a senior citizen. We can take immediate action." We did. I revoked every authorization they had. I closed the old account and moved everything to a new bank. I drafted a legal notice, preventing them from making financial decisions on my behalf. And I began the process of rewriting my will. By evening, everything was in motion. I had protected myself. But it didn't stop there. Oh no. Not after what I had heard them discussing on the phone that morning. Number 6, the phone call that confirmed their greed. As I left to meet my lawyer, I passed by the living room. I heard Zara whisper, "Hurry, get the money before she finds out. Old people forget things all the time." Adeel replied, laughing softly, "She'll think she misplaced it. We'll tell her the bank made a mistake." That conversation burned itself into my memory like ink on paper. They weren't just careless. They were calculated. And people like that don't stop voluntarily. You have to make them stop. Number 7, confrontation day. 2 days later, I invited them over. Tea on the table, biscuits on a plate. A calm before the storm. Adeel entered confidently, perhaps assuming everything had blown over. Zara followed, wearing that same sugary sweet smile. "Mom, we're glad you're feeling better," she said. I placed a folder on the table. "What's this?" Adeel asked. "The documents you forged," I replied. "The bank has already confirmed the attempt. My lawyer has everything." Their faces drained of color. "I didn't forge anything," Adeel snapped. "You signed my name," I said calmly. "Do you want me to show you the footage?" The bank manager had already provided it. Zara jumped in. It was a misunderstanding. "No," I cut her off. "A choice." Then I handed them the second document. My updated will. They scanned it quickly until their eyes widened. "You removed us," Adeel whispered. "Yes," I said, "completely." Zara slammed the paper down. "You can't do that." I stared at her, truly stared at her for the first time. "Watch me." Number 8, the realization that set me free. Adeel's face crumpled. "Mom, we're your family." "Family protects," I replied. "Family supports. Family respects. You too did none of that." Zara scoffed and stood up. "You'll regret this." "No," I said. "I'll regret trusting you." They left, slamming the door so hard the frame shook. For the first time in years, the house was quiet. But not empty. Not lonely. Just peaceful. Number 9, when karma arrived. A month later, I received a call. Their newly purchased investment attempt, funded by loans they could barely afford, had collapsed. The property deal they were counting on fell through. Zara's brother's business closed. Their debts piled up faster than they could breathe. They came to my house again. Not to apologize. Not to make amends. But to ask for financial help. I opened the door only halfway. "Mom, we need you," Adeel said quietly. Zara added, "Just a loan, just until we get back on our feet." I looked into their eyes, the same eyes that had once sparkled with deceit at the bank counter, and felt nothing but steel inside me. "You taught me something valuable," I said. "When someone shows you who they are, you must believe them." I stepped back and closed the door. Not slowly. Not regretfully. Firmly. Number 10, a new beginning. I didn't abandon them completely. I told Adeel he could visit me anytime, alone, and we could rebuild slowly. But Zara, I kept a distance, a long, solid one. I also began using my savings for myself. I renovated my house. I started traveling, something I never allowed myself to do. I joined a senior club, made new friends, even took painting classes. For the first time in decades, I lived for me. And every time I think back to that moment at the bank, that split-second decision to enter, that accidental encounter, that glimpse of betrayal, I realize something. The universe showed me the truth at the perfect moment. And I listened. Number 11, the final lesson. People think the biggest danger to the elderly is illness or loneliness. But sometimes it's our own children. Not out of hatred, but out of entitlement. Out of the belief that our lives belong to them. But they don't. My savings, my time, my future. They are mine. And the day I caught my son and his wife at the bank was not the day I lost everything. It was the day I finally took everything back.